Hey friends, this is T again with another reaction video, and today we're going to be doing a reaction on Emergency's Awesome's Thunderbolts Comic Con trailer. Now, it's things that you missed, and this guy is really good at catching things, you know, the little Easter eggs that come out. I love this guy's channel. I always watch it when I want to update and find out news about Marvel or DC or all of these comic book movies or sci-fi movies. Doesn't matter. This guy covers it all, and I love his take on it. I love the things that he see that most people don't see. He's really good at his job, and I really like going to it. Now, once in a while I do reactions to his videos. I don't do it all the time, but I do watch him most of the time, and I really enjoy it. So hopefully you will enjoy it as well, because I am somewhat a fan of his channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this reaction. But before we do, please like, subscribe, and share this video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know whenever we come out with new videos. Okay, all right, let's get with it.
San Diego Comic-Con! It is I, Alexei Shostakov!
You know, look, he's a very unknown character, and I like it when Robert Downey Jr., I like it when Tom Hiddleston did their characters. People really get excited, but this character is not really known well. All I know is he's Russian, and his powers are similar to Captain America's. That's all I know about this guy, right? And then he worked for the Thunderbolts. Other than that, I don't think he's known as a very popular character. But you know, you go along with what you got, all right? And Disney need everything they can.
I've come here today to introduce you to the brand new team of heroes in the MCU!
Oh my God. You guys didn't dress up?
I know, man. That's a mess. There's always got to be one person that dresses up or something, right? Which is great.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel released a new Thunderbolts trailer at Comic-Con, confirming a bunch of fan theories and details about the movie, the new characters, what the asterisk in the actual title means. Kevin Feige finally revealed that. Turns out it's not at all what everybody thought it was. They even revealed who bought the Avengers tower from Iron Man back during the events of Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man Homecoming. It's only taken them 5+ years to confirm that. There's a bunch of other big reveals, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get...
Yeah, please subscribe to him. He's really great. And I definitely will leave the full video unedited, uncut down below in the link, so that way you can watch it without, you know, hearing my commentary. But let's go ahead and continue.
Get all the videos. I'm trying to work through all the Comic-Con trailer videos that they released, so I'm almost done with that stuff. There was so much footage they dropped at that Marvel Comic-Con panel. The beginning of the Thunderbolts footage starts with Yelena Belova going to see Red Guardian for the first time in a while. This is well after the events of Hawkeye Season 1, the last time we saw her in the MCU. We haven't really seen Red Guardian since the events of the Black Widow ending, though. She visits the apartment that he's living in on his own now, knocking on the door. He's being a super slob on the couch. Like, they play the character pretty comedically when they reveal him. Pretty much the same vibe of his character during the Black Widow movie, too. He tries to clean up the mess around his apartment before opening the door and letting her in, but it is still a total dumpster fire of a mess. Like, worse than a college kid's dorm room of a mess.
Yeah, it's that could have been a lot better movie than it was. They had great actors in this. You thought they would go bigger, but for some reason, and this is the thing, Disney got a problem with a lot of fans saying that we don't want to see women, which is completely false. We do want to see women and men in these movies. We want it to be good, written well, all of these things. But they seem to treat the women, you know, less desirable, okay? They could have done better for a Scarlett Johansson character and made a better movie, but they didn't, and they cut corners. And, you know, it was just bad writing altogether. No wonder she got angry, and no wonder she ended up suing, you know what I mean? Because I think it was a flop, or close to a flop. So either way it goes. But I love the characters in it. I love the people that played in this movie. It's just they dropped the ball big time.
He calls him dad. She called him dad during their Hawkeye episodes, too. Like, she's thought of him as a father. After they greet each other, he tells her that he's been taking steps to move forward in his life since the events of the Black Widow ending, when they destroyed the Red Room, freed all the Black Widows. Really big connection to Captain America Brave New World 2 because one of those Black Widows that they freed is now working for Thunderbolt Ross inside his cabinet. I'll explain that later in the video. But they freed all those Black Widows, they have all those crazy skills, so like now all of them are working around the world using those skills towards different ends, both good and
No, that's interesting. So I was wondering what happened to them because they freed them. Now you got a bunch of deadly assassins running all over the place. Some of them using their talents, I guess, for good, and some for evil. Who knows what they're going to be using it for the Thunderbolts? Maybe, maybe they're supposed to be good guys now. But, I would be disappointed if that was the case. I like them to, just work for themselves, guns for hire type situations, mercenaries, if you prefer to call them that. I'd rather it be for their own best interest. That's what they're looking at. It makes a more interesting story, in my opinion. Instead of just making people come from murdering folks to all of a sudden now they all good and they just want to just do well or whatever, right? If you are trained from little girl to all the way to an adult to be that way, you should still have a lot of that in you, okay? And it would disappoint me if they would just try to make them all just good guys and that's it.
and bad things. It's just that Thunderbolt Ross has basically made use of one of those Black Widows, like, I have a Black Widow on my payroll now. Red Guardian says he's been moving forward with his new life. He feels fulfilled, but is clearly meant to be lying to her. Like he's having his own existential crisis about what his life is supposed to be now that he's out of that Russian prison, and he still has all of his Captain America super soldier level powers. They got into this during the Black Widow movie, but he has powers on the level of Captain America, but he got a derivative of the super soldier serum. Because of the Cold War, Russia stole a version of the super soldier serum and then just used it on him. I think the idea is that he's not quite as strong as Captain America. Like, the serum that he got was a derivative of the original super soldier serum, the most
Oh, he got the generic part. Well, Captain America, and they did a story about this too. It was a long time ago. I read it. There was a black Captain America before Steve Rogers. I don't think they called him Captain America, but they experimented on him. And they also experimented on Luke Cage as well. I'm not exactly sure if that's the same serum or what, but Luke Cage is definitely more powerful than Captain America and invulnerable. But either case, there was another black dude that they experimented. The logic behind that was, back in the day, because they experiment like the Shikigi experiment, when they experiment on them black people with these diseases or with these drugs. Well, that's where they was getting the idea from. Before they would give it to a white dude or one of them, they would give it to a black person first, to see if it worked. Somebody from prison, just like what they did with Luke Cage. And the person, for a while, he had these abilities. And I think he grew old and he decided to live. If memory serves, he grew old and decided to live in the projects. He didn't want to be Captain America. It worked on him, but he just didn't want to be involved in that kind of a thing. So he ended up just growing old and having a family or whatever. I believe, if like I said, if memory served, I believe that's what happened to him. But it was very interesting, right? And so now they're going to give this generic drug to this Russian dude. So, they decided to make him the opposite of being cool or whatever, like Captain America. They're going to make him some kind of oaf. But he should still be able to fight, because regardless of how powerful the drug is, he should still have some skills. And he did show some skills in there, though. But hopefully they won't make him too much of a clown. I don't mind him joking around and messing around or whatever, but let him be good at what he does. Don't take that away from him.
pure form Steve Rogers got. They also got into this during the Falcon and Winter Soldier series with the super soldier serum that was being passed around then. The idea is that version of the serum was refined and it didn't make people super swole, so they just looked like normal people walking around but still had the same level of strength and regeneration. Part of the idea in the movie, though, is that all the main characters, like the Thunderbolts characters and the Sentry, obviously are meant to have some deep trauma that they're dealing with during the film. Most notably, like I said, the Sentry, Robert Reynolds, who's schizophrenic and suffers from anxiety disorder before he got all of his powers.
I didn't know too much about the Sentry. I just knew they compared him to Superman. But this guy got a lot of issues, man. He got a lot of mental issues, and there's some kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type situation he got to maintain and control. I just learned about that recently because, I start when these comic books movies come out, I want to learn about the characters that I'm not familiar with. So I started to look him up, and his character is pretty messed up. He's powerful as hell, though. He's very powerful. He went toe-to-toe with the Hulk. I think he's stronger than the Hulk. I'm not exactly sure, but sometimes they kind of fluctuate with the Hulk. 1 minute the Hulk can take on Wolverine and struggle, but then the next minute he's gonna take on somebody like Sentry, as powerful as he is, and still able to beat them or whatever the situation is. So Marvel love to do that sometime. One minute they can't handle a small situation, but the next minute they can handle almost impossible situation at that. I mean, I guess it makes it interesting. It depends on the story. But either case, yeah, this guy's messed up.
As a result of his psychological condition while getting his powers, that led to the creation of the Void personality. The Void is meant to be a repressed persona inside him that has the same level of powers, but is totally evil. Red Guardian asks Yelena Belova why she's here visiting him, and she says something is wrong with her. She explains she's become a contract killer working for Val, and she feels like the only reason for her living now, her only reason for existing, is to kill other people, like the contract killing itself. Her life has no real purpose beyond her type of work. They start playing Where Is My Mind by the Pixies across the rest of the trailer footage. They transition to a scene of her saying that she's figured out that someone wants all of the characters dead, like the Thunderbolts' main characters. The room turns into a furnace. We see Loki's scepter in a glass case somewhere. Bucky then meets with Val, pissed off at having to see her, clearly hates her, sounds about right. We see him wash his vibranium arm in the dishwasher, then put it on. There's another scene of him entering a courtroom. We've actually seen some behind-the-scenes footage of that before. There's a separate scene of U.S. Agent reading news articles about himself. Yelena Belova then has a hallway fight scene meant to parallel Natasha's Black Widow fight scene during Iron Man 2. Then we see her investigating a room, finding all kinds of charts, and she gets...
I really love her character, man. I love the way she jokes. I love the way she talks. It's great, and she just looks so great in it. In my opinion, when the Black Widow movie came out, I was more interested in her than Black Widow. I thought she was just a more interesting character.
Shot by U.S. Agent. Then she throws a knife at Ghost, who phases through her knife and throws it back at her, also trying to kill her, while someone else tries to help U.S. Agent kill them, too. Okay. Then we see Bob, a.k.a. the Sentry, Robert Reynolds, entering the room while they're trying to kill each other while he's inside a hospital gown. Like, he just wanders into the room randomly.
Damn.
Then the entire room locks down all of a sudden. Then they showed a brief scene of the new Avengers Tower as it exists now after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home, like the redesigned Avengers Tower.
That was
so there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the footage here. The Avengers Tower footage is meant to confirm that Val is the person who bought it using government resources.
I love her character too, man. I think she's a great actress. I loved her in Seinfeld.
Is meant to confirm that Val is the...
Yeah, I loved her in Seinfeld. I thought she was great. And it'd be nice if they bring him back again instead of just using him for the Black Panther. I think they should these kind of characters, they can spread around the MCU. So they shouldn't be attached to just one group. They should be involved behind this, just like the government is, always involved in something that's going on in the United States, right? So these guys, to me, they should play that type of role, in my opinion. He's considered, even though he worked for a government agency, he's still kind of considered good. On the opposite, she's like about her own self and her own self-interest, which I love that about her. That makes her character even more interesting. And she can play those roles too. She can play good roles. She can play evil roles and stuff like that. I really like her, man. I think her character is really interesting. Hopefully they'll show more of her character in this, so she can spread her wings, start, dealing with stuff like, the X-Men or, the other Avengers or whatever, right? These characters should definitely be spread around, in my opinion.
The person who bought it using government resources. She's the director of the CIA right now, so she has access to basically unlimited money through the government. This kind of soft confirms one of my Dark Avengers theories, that the Avengers Tower will eventually become the Dark Avengers Tower, maybe briefly, because I think we're heading...
That is such a great photo. I like that. That is a cool photo, man. I tell you, man, that's the reason why I loved comic books so much, man. They made the women extra sexy. The guys had muscles. They were cool. It's so sad, man. That, I know you just can't go to a gym and pick out people to do these roles or whatever, man, because they can't act. Even though they might look good or whatever, they just can't act. So you have to use actors. But just like the Chinese, they should make them go through some type of training and exercise, just like in the Matrix, right? So they can be able to do the roles. It seems like, they'll pick their friends to do these roles and then put them through no type of training whatsoever, which is crazy. And to me, that's lazy, because this is supposed to be a job. You're getting paid millions of dollars and you can't even go through a certain amount of muscle training. It's crazy. I mean, actors anyway should keep themselves in good condition, not unless they play a role where they have to be fat or something like that. But other than that, they should keep themselves in great condition. So that way, when roles like this do come up, then they are able to do it, and people can actually see them in these roles. Okay. But I love the artistry, man. Love it, man. I think it's so cool. Yo, look at the outfits they come up with too, man. Love comic books, man.
Heading to this big Marvel soft reboot after Secret Wars. So like everything after Secret Wars is sort of up for question as to what's going to happen with the new continuity. But they explained that the Thunderbolts movie is meant to revolve around the Thunderbolts being given a mission separately, like each of them separately, to extract the Sentry, aka Robert Reynolds, who's just referred to as Bob in the movie, from this special facility. And all the Thunderbolts characters only know him as Bob. Like, they don't know that he's the Sentry, they don't know about his origin story, just that he's a person called Bob that they're supposed to extract. Now
that would be very interesting to see him, because like I said, his powers are similar to Superman's, from my understanding. So, I mean, for what I've seen, he's strong. I think he got lasers in his eyes. He's supposed to be able to fly. Very powerful character. And I still don't know who this actor is. I think I've seen a picture of him before, but they keep on showing his back now. I can't remember. But hopefully he'll really fit. And you remember the guy from the zombie show? I forgot the name of it. The Asian dude. Okay, he was supposed to play Sentry, but I guess he bowed out because the character's not Asian. The character's white. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad he did, man. You know, I'm sorry he had to miss out on an opportunity like that. The Walking Dead, that's the name of it. I couldn't even remember that. The Walking Dead. But, you know, said he had to miss out on the opportunity like that. But, you know, I just want them to try to get as close to the characters as possible. This race swapping and gender swapping, all that kind of stuff, it should be for very unknown characters. Like, for example, if it's a character you just are not familiar with, and they decide to race swap or gender swap, I don't think too many people will be upset over that. I don't think they would care, because they don't know who this character is. So, you know, they're like, oh, it'd be like one of those pleasant surprises when you look up this character and say, oh, this person was a male at first. Because I've seen it a few times when the MCU swapped out characters that I thought was a woman, but they actually were men at the beginning, and I didn't care. But when you know the characters, and you know, and if they're very popular, and you decide to just race swap or gender swap, I think that's the wrong move for them to do that, you know. But either case, though, hopefully they'll stick close to the comic books with this.
He's a person called Bob that they're supposed to extract. Then them finding on the mission that it's actually a setup and they're all meant to die. Like, they were all set up to kill each other on this extraction mission. So the idea is that they have not been working as a team before this. Like, they've all been separately doing jobs for Val, and she's been compartmentalizing everything. So, like, Yelena Belova doesn't know about what U.S. Agent has been doing for Val, who doesn't know what Ghost has been doing for Val.
It's sort of like you got to keep them at each other. That's the best way to control them, which is smart. You can't let them become friends and start, you know, adding up things. You know, she asked you to do that, and then she gave them some different instructions or whatever. She got to keep them at odds, but at the same time, she got to keep them as a team in order to fulfill the mission. So it's a tactic that's known. If you're in the military or anything else that require this type of stuff, man, these tactics can be very effective when done right. But then long term, I think it doesn't, and a lot of people end up being messed up over it. Sometimes people get killed over this kind of stuff too, man. But this is a dangerous game, so. And she's dealing with very powerful, dangerous people. So in some ways, she probably look at them like Lex Luthor or look at Superman. You know, these high-powered people are so dangerous, but we have to figure out a way to control them. And that's usually manipulation. And that way keep them at odds with each other, but at the same time create a team, which is very difficult. It's like the Suicide Squad. And Waller had to deal with them. So she kind of kept them confused. She threatened them. She would put these little bombs in their necks, whatever, to control them. But I think she's going to do it differently. I don't think she's going to go that extreme. She'll just use manipulation.
Belova doesn't know about what U.S. Agent has been doing for Val, who doesn't know what Ghost has been doing for Val. They all just wind up in this room together, thinking that they're all enemies trying to kill each other. Then they figure out what's actually really going on. Like, oh, you're working for this Val person too. Like, she set us up to die, essentially, hoping that they'd all kill each other on this mission. Probably Val trying to clean up a lot of loose ends so that people didn't find out about the shady stuff that she'd had them doing for the past couple of years. Julia Louis-Dreyfus said that Val in the movie is just after power, so I think the idea is that the Sentry is meant to be the culmination of that.
You know, fantasy mimics life. Movies mimic life, man. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these women want power and they'll do anything to get it. It's happening these days, right? You see it all over the place. All these women getting caught doing all kind of crazy stuff. Why? Just to get power. So it's not surprising she's gonna do it, and they're gonna do whatever they can because, like, look, I'm not saying all women are bad with power or anything like that. I don't even want to say that. So when I say stuff like this, I'm just being in general here. But certain people that do whatever they need to do to get to the top are usually dangerous people, and she's supposed to be very dangerous, even though she don't have any powers. But she has a way, from my understanding, have a way of manipulating situations where it works in her favor, which makes her dangerous, very dangerous, you know. And in some cases, just like Lex Luthor, they can be even more dangerous than powered people. You know, I mean, that's why they have that comparison with Superman and Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor can be almost as dangerous as Superman can. And you can use another example, Doctor Doom. Even though his armor makes him very powerful and his mystical arts, but his mind is the most dangerous thing about him because he's so intelligent, so intelligent. And I'm assuming that they're going to make her, in a way, very intelligent too, and definitely a great manipulator. So yeah, she's going to have to do a lot of stuff. But at the same time, these people fear the powerful. At the same time, they fear these high-powered people. That's probably why she's trying to manipulate them into destroying each other. Because in the end, even though they can be useful tools, but at some point, we got to get rid of them after they do what they need to do. And that happens in real life. They'll use people to do little things in the government. And then eventually these people disappear or find dead somewhere. You know what I mean? So this is just at a higher scale because these are superpower people. And if you don't get rid of them, there's always that chance for them to come back. But you got to have some kind of personality to be dealing with something like that. Like, for example, if you're trying to manipulate Logan, the Wolverine, that's a dangerous game you're playing. Because if you don't take him out, there's a chance he always going to come back and get you. And he will get you, okay? So she's one of those high-stake type characters that like to play with dangerous circumstances and dangerous people. So she had to have some kind of serious game, man, to be able to deal in this world.
That, like, she finds a way to recreate the super soldier serum or the golden sentry serum from the comics because that's what the Sentry gets, but it's meant to be a derivative of the super soldier serum. Val basically creates the Sentry through the Weapons Plus program, like the comics, essentially.
Okay, so he was created. I thought he was, you know, for some reason I was thinking he was some kind of mystical person or somebody from another planet or something. You know, like I said, I never really dived into this character because he was so basic. He wasn't like popular like Superman or anything like that. He was kind of a basic character. It's almost like he was the generic of Superman. You know, because I noticed that Marvel and DC like to mimic each other when it comes to certain characters. So, you know, so that's all I thought. But I thought he was like from another planet or something. He just arrived to Earth. But I guess if some experiment made this guy powerful, that's probably what messed up his mind.
Comics, essentially, in plans to use him as a replacement for all the things that Yelena Belova, U.S. Agent, Ghost, all these other Thunderbolts characters have been doing. So, like, I don't need you anymore. I have a way more powerful person that she thinks she can control. So a big part of the movie is the Thunderbolts characters banding together as a team to survive, both survive Val and survive the Sentry, but also probably help the Sentry too, because the Sentry is meant to be a good character, but there is the Void inside him. I've already talked about the way it sounds like they're going to adapt the Void personality though. They made it sound like they're depicting the Void as more of a domain expansion kind of twist, like Jujutsu Kaisen, where they travel inside the Sentry's mind, so to speak. There's still a lot of questions there, but I think the idea is that by the end of the movie, they're meant to help the Sentry come.
That's what I love about Marvel, man. And I'm talking about Marvel, the comic books, okay? That's what I loved about it. They made their characters so deep, and you love following what's going on with them. Because it was never that, you know, they just good guys and did good things. They went through a lot of issues in Marvel Comics, man. A lot of issues. That would make their characters so interesting. It wasn't just about the fact that they can leap over buildings and shoot rays from the eyes or build incredible armor. It was the characters that made them. Because even though people love Iron Man, they love Tony Stark more. I thought Tony Stark was more of an interesting character than him just being in an armor. You know what I mean? Very dangerous. So that's what I loved about Marvel more than DC, because DC did explore things like that, but I think Marvel did it more in depth, and they willing to make their superheroes seriously flawed, very flawed, and I thought that was very interesting.
Come back to his senses, because there is no way that they could actually win in a fight against the Sentry. Like, he's just way too powerful. So I think the twist with them surviving is by talking him down. Not clear, though, if they eventually try to kill Val by the end of the movie, or if she does turn them into the Dark Avengers by the end. Like, oh, you survived. Well, guess what? Your reward is now becoming the Dark Avengers.
No, you can't get rid of a character like that. I hate that. You finally get a character that you actually like. You know, after going through all these generic characters that they pick, that see the last movie after movie after movie. But when you come to Val, I'm assuming the evil woman here, you want to see her in more stuff, not just Thunderbolts, other things too. And then they mess around and end up getting rid of her. That would be tragic, you know. But I'm not too surprised when it comes to Disney, man. They tend to want to like take people out or something. And I hate it when they do it with the idea of bringing them back. Why even take them out in the first place? You know what I mean? You only can use that so many times before, after a while, people thinking nobody dies in the MCU. So what's the point?
That kind of sounds like something that Val would try to do, like try to find a way to weasel out of being killed by them. Like, oh, I wasn't trying to set you up. It was just a test to see if you could survive. And because you did survive, you get to continue operating as a team. Here's your next mission to go on. Kevin Feige revealed a couple of the really big details, a couple big questions. He said that the Thunderbolts team name has absolutely nothing to do with Thunderbolt Ross. That's also true in the comics, too. If you haven't read the Thunderbolts comics, they don't get their name from Thunderbolt Ross. So it's the same idea in the movie. Thunderbolt Ross's name being similar is just a coincidence. I think the actual Thunderbolts name is supposed to be more of a joke, like it's meant to be the name of Yelena Belova's childhood soccer team or something like that. Kevin Feige also revealed what the asterisk in the Thunderbolts title is meant to be. A lot of questions about this since they revealed it. It's not just meant to be an asterisk. It's meant to be 6 bullet holes formed by the 6 different main characters. That would be Bucky, Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, US Agent, Ghost, Taskmaster, and then Sentry, even though he's one of the main characters, wouldn't be part of the people making these 6 bullet holes, just because why would the Sentry need a gun? It'd be like Superman wearing a helmet. It'd just be ridiculous. There are a couple other funny moments at the Comic-Con panel, too. David Harbour came to the panel in a Red Guardian cosplay and made a big joke about the others not dressing up in cosplay. Like, I thought we all agreed that we were going to be dressing up in cosplay. I think this is meant to be based on what the new version of his Red Guardian suit is going to look like in the movie, but this isn't his act.
See, it's cool wearing this stuff. It's just like when you went to Star Wars back in the day. People was like, when they did play in Star Wars and they wanted to play a Jedi, you get to wear the costume, you get to use the lightsaber because it's so cool. It's exciting as an actor, from my understanding, right? And if you get the costume right, if they're not looking stupid, because this looks good. I think they like wearing these uniforms. I think it's really cool. You know, as long as you can make it like practical, is a reason why they're wearing these particular outfits instead of just, you know, spandex or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think people got a love and hate relationship with Superman outfit. I like Superman outfit, but it doesn't serve any practical sense. When they tried to make it seem like that's the outfit of the House of El or a Kryptonian, then it made more sense him wearing that. It's almost like a representation from his planet. Then I can get along with that, but just the spandex thing, and that's why I like the versions of Batman when you can see little knobs or whatever on his outfit, because it's for a reason. It's not just he's just wearing some kind of spandex costume like the old Batman did. Okay, I like the fact that they did that, and I think that's a pretty good outfit. And it's kind of similar to Captain America's
Actual suit. It's just a cosplay mock-up version of his suit. I know there'll be a bunch of questions about how this connects with Captain America Brave New World, because this will be the next movie right after Captain America Brave New World. So we'll have all that stuff with Thunderbolt Ross becoming Red Hulk, all the adamantium subplot with Tiamat, the dead Celestial in the Indian Ocean.
Ooh.
And in the movie, the Sabra character that everybody's been asking about is that Black Widow character. She's a former Black Widow who just happens to be the Sabra character name that they're using from the comics.
Okay, I don't even know who that character is. But, you know, they're sticking with the fact that it's a female. You know what I'm saying? A white female. So I think Disney's slowly going back to what they did, but they should give black people more roles, Asian people more roles, or whatever, right? In the end, but just find a character in the comic books. I'm sure there's characters out there just like that, or create something. Even though that Marvel purchased the MCU doesn't mean that they can't create characters on their own. If they had talented people, they could do it. Just create somebody, okay? Instead of just replacing people and taking other people's jobs away.
Out is that Black Widow character. She's a former Black Widow who just happens to be the Sabra character name that they're using from the comics. Now, in the comics, I don't believe that she used to be a Black Widow. I think she was like a totally different character in the comics. So the version that they're doing in the movie is meant to be completely different from the comic book version. But part of the idea is that after Yelena Belova, Natasha Black Widow, Red Guardian, all those characters freed the Black Widows from the Red Room at the end of the Black Widow movie, all those Black Widows basically became mercenaries around the world or working for other organizations, one of them being like the Sabra character working for Thunderbolt Ross inside his cabinet. The other big thing that's happening with Marvel's movie schedule is like the next major movie.
It must be me, man. I don't know what Disney gonna do with the Fantastic Four, man, but I'm still excited to see it. And I can't wait for them to come out with a trailer so I can react to it, so I can get even more excited. Because I'm hoping at this point, since everything is so crazy in the United States right now, that they'll come to their senses and think, you know what? We need the money just when the hard times come around, because everybody's talking about it's possible the hard times can come around maybe at the end of 2024 or the beginning or throughout 2025. So for them to keep making movies and they losing money, because people are spending less and less money right now, and Disney need the money. You know what I mean? They need to maintain their stuff. And if you start making crap, people ain't gonna spend no money on it. So they have to make good movies. So I'm hoping this is definitely going to be a start of that.
Movie after the Thunderbolts movie that we know of right now is the Fantastic Four film, which will be completely separate from what's happening in Thunderbolts, like not connected at all. Thunderbolts will be more like Captain America 4, and it'll be more Earth-based, more ground-level thriller type of action.
I think Harrison Ford, let's go back to that for a second. I think Harrison Ford loved to do action, man. He old as dirt, but he loved doing action, though. Let's go back to that. He falls.
Will be more like Captain America 4, and it'll be more Earth.
Yeah, I think Harrison Ford loved to do the action, man. I mean, he, like I said, what is he, in his 80s now or something like that, man? But the man still got that heart of a child, man. That, if he could go back and get his youth back, man, he'd be probably doing all kind of action movies or something like that. He was really good at that stuff, man. Especially in Indiana Jones. But I think he, he said when he did this interview, he did it. He see all these more talented actors playing with these characters in the Marvel Universe. He said he wanted to be a part of it. He just wanted to have fun too as well. So this is more like candy for actors.
Earth-based, more ground-level thriller type of action. Fantastic Four is more connected to all the multiverse stuff that's happening. Avengers 5, Doomsday, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, they're killing it with this multiverse, man. I'm like, look, I get it, man, that they want to experiment and do new things, man, but they need to come up with another concept, because I'm getting tired of them constantly talking about the multiverse. I mean, it's like people get tired of saying that all the time, But they want to be able to make characters that, even if the fans like, for example, him playing Dr. Doom, he's not going to be, from what I hear, possibly rumors, that he's not really playing Victor Von Doom. He's just playing the evil Tony Stark. So it's kind of multiverse type stuff, if he went evil or something like that, an evil genius. And, he just happened to don this particular type of Iron Man suit. So it's interesting. Don't get me wrong. It's an interesting concept. But like I said, when they play with it too much, it can get old. But I'm loving the fact that the Russo brothers are coming back. I'm really loving that.
Jr. coming back as his version of Dr. Doom. There might be some kind of post-credit scene in the Thunderbolts movie teasing what's happening with Avengers 5, but I don't see them teasing Fantastic Four in the post-credit scene, just because Thunderbolts has no connection to the multiverse stuff right now. And everything in the Fantastic Four movie is taking place in an alternate universe before the Fantastic Four and possibly Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr.'s version, come to the MCU. What'll probably happen for the rest of the year is that Marvel will just continue hyping up Captain America Brave New World. We'll get a couple more trailers for that. Maybe we'll get a Thunderbolts trailer at the end of the year, but it's not coming out till May next year, so it'll probably be a while before we see some official footage. Whatever they wind up releasing, of course I will do videos about it. Because it sounds like a lot of Avengers.
I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. Like I said, I'm hoping that these movies do well, because I think most people Even the ones that would criticize Disney for anything when it's not even necessary. I think in general, these people really want good movies so they can talk about it, because you can bring in people to watch your videos when you're saying good things about these movies if it's good, because people will be more interested instead of always having to say bad things constantly. I just like a good balance there. Just like any other critic or people that love movies, we should be able to talk about it. That's the whole point of these forums, these platforms. But I'm really excited. Definitely, I'm gonna leave the link below. That way you can check out this video uninterrupted. Emergency Awesome. He's in the know. The man usually know what's going on. He's usually right. I ain't gonna say anybody's 100% right about everything, man, but he usually hit it on the nail, man. And I really enjoy his videos. So definitely check him out and subscribe to him, as well as subscribe to me too as well. Okay, don't forget that part. All right? That should be your first priority. All right, your first priority. Subscribe to me first. Okay. All right. I really appreciate all of you coming by. Thanks again. This is T, and peace.